Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and you join me at a very curious sort of angle for this video. Now, the reason for this, ladies and gentlemen, is because I'm going to do a drawing video of just something I was commissioned actually to sort of do for for a local priest. I call this commission because technically he requested it, and I just decided to go through with it anyway. Now, the first thing you're going to know is that the only reason, if the video looks quite grainy, it's because this was sort of like, I'm using my webcam, and this is the only real angle I can get without making it look a bit too ridiculous. So, first thing I have to do is going to have to clear the surface. This is actually my keyboard. I've had it since 2018. We'll just sort of like pop it up. I might have to like, 1 second. Let me, I'll just have to grab something like a little bit small and just something sturdy enough to hold up. I'll use my camera and my watch here, my Edifice there. My parents actually got this for me for my 18th birthday, and it's one of my cherished possessions, so goes there. Now, this is actually my this is for a reference point where I'm gonna like stick it off to one side, so that I could just see it whenever I can, and it should make my should be easy to look with an immediate reference. And more importantly, I have a paper of peace, which is just my drawing material right there. Oh, Jesus! I apologize for all that. So, what we're going to need next is some very, very basic materials. I'm mostly just going to be using like pens throughout this video because based on like previous references that I saw from other people who've designed churches in videos and like that, they usually just use pens, and all I need to look for right now is a ruler. So bear with me 1 second, guys, while I find one. I do have like a multi-purpose sort of triangular ruler up here. I need to just need to find it. That's all I need to do. Right. Here it is. Okay, now, in terms of pens, I've got all sorts. Just 3mm, 2mm, 0.5 millimeter. Just those sort of materials would do absolutely fine. So, let's just kind of like get started. So, everything's ready, and just gonna turn Snapchat notifications off for a second. You wouldn't have thought I would have used Snapchat for anything, but there you go. It is what it is. So put that to one side. Just scroll that in. I'll just do a very basic little drawing of the road. I'll get a 0.4 millimeter one to do this. Okay, anyway, let's get started. So, just place that on there. Always looking every 3 seconds at the reference point. Draw along. Hopefully these things are dried up, aren't they? Let's just try again. There's a bit of a mark here, so maybe just a little bit more pressure. There we go. Or just tilt the pen at a different angle and do it like this. So again, just looking back. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, just before we continue, I should also point out that realistically, this is the first time in very nearly 5 years since I've actually really done work kind of like this. So this is going to be a little bit of an interesting one. So that's basically just like the path before the road, and I might just do a little bit one for the actual curvature of the road, just for the sake of details and the sake of peace of mind as well. So I'll add a little bit there. Of course, there's plenty of detailing you can add by using pens of this nature, and also just kind of like what like old-fashioned animators would do. I would sort of like get one of those like desks that sort of like slope, so you don't have to like constantly bend your neck forward. But if I did that, I probably might have to get like a whole separate sort of like setup entirely, one with maybe a fold-up table or something like that. So to move on to the brick wall, that's sort of like the curvature between like the path and the brick wall. I'm gonna pop that one to one side. I'm gonna pull out. Let's do something a little bit thinner. Let's do a 0.1 millimeter nib, and it sort of goes a little bit at the same angle. Let me just check. Yeah, okay. Let's do it like this. A little bit more. Should be okay. Keeping this straight and. One line, and there's just a little bit there at the end where like the steps begin, so I'm just gonna like pop it up there. You know, it probably, the way I probably should have done this, and maybe I should have like add a maybe I'll do this in like post-production. I'll put a picture of what I'm doing for reference in like the corner somewhere, just so that sort of like here. I'll make sure to do that so there's something to at least to look at. Okay, so wool there. I'm taking an estimated guess that's about 2 centimeters in the air based. I'll do like, let's say 1.8 centimeters up. Do it like that. And I've sort of like got it to like the top of the wall because I'll need to like put it down just a little bit so that the top of the wall sort of like comes into view. Yeah, I'll need to like maybe make the wall a little bit higher. You know, proportioning and all that's very, very key. Like that. And one across. And across again. Like that. Looks okay so far. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'll do the steps for. Yeah, I'll do the steps on the far end. So just about it, like another about 0.9 here, and it's sort of like it goes across the way the steps and then the handrail for this. For the brick here, so I've got to do like about a 1/6 of a centimeter across, and because it's sort of like at a triangular angle, I'm like a right angle, I'm gonna do it just a little bit like this. And also notice how I'm not actually, you know, I would sometimes what I'll do is I'd print this out and trace it, but I'm trying to like do it a little bit, you know, a little bit more, try to include a little bit more skill into this. So drawing from reference, as it were. Okay, so I'll make it flat at the top. Besides, push comes to shove, I could just grab my light box out of my closet and just trace in details, really, if it doesn't come to fruition. Okay, so 1/2 of the steps is done there. We'll do a little bit of a fall here. I'll tell you what, I'll put that to one side. I'll put in a slightly thinner nib again. Where's the 0.4? 1/2 of 1 millimeter will do for these steps. So there we go. 1. That, and of course, just got to do a little bit at the end. Let's see, and then like this. Yeah, okay. This is a little bit more of an arduous sort of part of the task, but it's got to be done, I suppose. Let's see. Because it also should be worth noting is that based on the result of this is supposed to go on to like covers of bulletins and all that. So it's a little bit important. I kind of have to try and get this as right as I can. I'll just continue going, keeping things straight. Because we're getting sort of like near to the end to the stage where the stairs sort of like run off, and I could just like do like line after line. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll just do it here because that's kind of like where the steps of the other side sort of like come to an end, like that, and there. Because there is a little bit of an indication of exactly how these steps sort of like form, because there's a little bit of like a metal sort of part of the ledge, I guess you could, the edge of the steps in question, so I'll make sure to add that in. I might add that in detailing like later on in like a part 2 of this, so that you can see there's obviously some kind of like progression to edging towards this. So let's see. That's now we move on to using our 0.1 again for the other side of the steps. Let's see. See, angle works in just fine. There we go, and there we go. Yeah, there we go. Don't be surprised if you hear that being said a lot throughout this video. Now, where are we now? I'm gonna try and like, maybe I should do like maybe part of the shrubbery for the next part. So what are we on right now? I need to get 0.4 back up because of the brick. There's a little bit of just like this part where it needs to be go up just a wee bit, and then crawl along here. There we go. Now for the building itself, I'm actually going to use a I'm going to use I'll tell you what, I'll go back to 0.1 for the building itself. So let's see. Also, just ignore the sounds in the background. That's just it sort of like ends at like the halfway point. So because usually one technique you would sort of like have to learn to use if you were doing drawings of this kind is to do like rule of thirds, where you divide the squares up into like the sheet of paper into like 3 separate little squares, so that you sort of get an idea about the like size of stuff like that and where you could put a picture up. But obviously since I don't have that, or I didn't really do it, I'm just like doing this. I mean, they specifically said they didn't really want anything too fancy, just as long as you can tell what it is. But, you know, I want to try at least, you know, go out of my way and all that. Lent is supposed to be coming up in just in a month's time, so it's not just about giving stuff up and it's about doing extra things as well. That's what it's about. So, do a bit of a curve. Now, there is a bit of, like, another layer here, which I have to, like, go over, because there's a part here where it curves, and I'll describe it when I'm, like, drawing it, so I'm going to look twice at the paper and at what I'm doing. yeah, that's sort of like what it's supposed to be, and yeah, it's supposed to curve like that. Do a little bit of just a line here. Then of course there's this big part where, let's see here, out here, and this side as well. Then I do parts on either side, so I'll do about like half a centimeter on each side. Then up by about 1. Yeah, I might have to. If I wanted to do like more art videos like this, I would probably have to like revise, and maybe I was sort of like interested in buying some new pens or stuff like that. If I was gonna like take more of this up and learn how to like dig out my old tablet and do stuff like that. So another like about 0.7 across here. There we go. Down this one end, and it sort of like goes to around about here, and then there's a part again where like that, and like this. Just line this up. There we go. And while this part goes down again like this, and like that. Can you tell what it is? What can you tell what it's meant to be yet, ladies and gentlemen? I must admit, actually, just taking a pause here for a little bit, I don't think it looks too bad. I mean, it's very crudely designed. I mean, I'm never gonna make it as an engineer with this kind of like tack, but you never know. It's you can't expect to get everything perfect, and well, at least I could say I tried, which is something again, I suppose. Okay, line to the top here. Now, I'm gonna have to like just make sure I get this part right, because from what I understand, I'll grab the let's see, 0.05, because there's a wall sort of like on this part, so I have to like let's just see. Okay, half, and then it goes down by a bit, like that. That should be as far as it goes. I've got to find out exactly how long this is meant to be across. I'll say like 3 is how I should do it. There we go. And then I'll tell you what, I'll make it just a little bit longer. There we go. Then down again. Like that. Now let's work out, because it's sort of like a little bit in the middle where this part comes up. Let's see, proportion wise, it's a little bit higher than this side, so try not to like overshoot this. So it's a good proportion, because it's sort of like meant to be in the middle of this wall. So that's about, based on like geometry and all that, that looks about like the right size. Now let's sort of like work this out a little bit. It goes a little bit at a curve, so curve, and then just a little bit of a freestyle sort of like approach here. That's may not be a little bit perfect, because it's sort of like be a little bit more of a curve going down here, but I think it's not. I think it's not too bad. It could have been a little bit better, but never mind. Now, to do like I don't know if it's meant to be no, it's not meant to be called the vestry, but we'll let's see, work out exactly how to do this, because it sort of like again begins at the wall, and it goes up by about like this. Make this the extension to the wall, and crossing this to the side, it should go around about like here, just before the beginning of the image of the cross, like that. Again, just ignore background noises, not important. There we go. And a little bit across again, like so. Across there. Like that. Let's see. Like that, and like that. A little bit of a design here for the like that. There's a bit of a window before here, so need 0.05 again. I'll add in like windows in that in like the second part. It's just really for, you know, structural integrity. It's like the key to the first part. So that windows I'll add to the other side as well. So begins sort of like here. Let's see. I'm not entirely sure how well I would have made it on Art Attack, because the Art Attack would have been a little bit more active and animated at this point, but it is what it is. It's not meant to be like Art Attack. One, and half there. Actually, I'll tell you what. Because if I decided, like, probably what I might do is, like, scan this in and then work on maybe, like, little touch-up and details right here. I'm not entirely sure if it'll be entirely that necessary to do, like, little details and all this. But it might make it a little bit more interesting when, you know, when the finished product comes around. So... And also, yeah, the scrolling, when, like, if you can hear that scrolling effect, I'm a little bit concerned about that as well, in terms of, like, what it might do to the product. Now, there's a little bit of, like, of a hole sort of, like, in the corner here, so just gotta look at that a little bit quick. Yeah, I think I'll stick to using this pen for the time being. Let's see. Corner, another little corner here. It also kind of like shows like the age of these pens, if or maybe just how fragile the nibs might turn out to be, if it looks like I'm a little bit being a bit gingerish about all this. But I can assure you it's just to make sure these things don't break. You always worry about that sort of thing from time to time. Mate, if you look after your stuff, you won't have a problem. Then I'll do the little sign for the church as well. There we go. Like that, and also just a little bit, 2 little short poles. And in time, I may as well just add. I'll probably have to add the cross as well. So the cross is basically just like, just straight lines really from. Like that. I'll go for a slightly thicker nib to do in like the details for the window panes themselves. This isn't going to take long either. Tell you what, I can sort of like do the same for the windows on the other side because they're sort of like on the same level. Like that. Coming across here. And just a little bit of a drawing down here. I think there's just like one more real part here to do is to just do the little pillars along this side. I'll tell you what, I'll use my I'll use the 0.5 marker, the thicker nib that I have for this. So it's basically just like this, and about a quarter of a centimeter across, then do by 1, then a quarter, then 1 again. Just, yep, 1 like that, and then 1 quarter, and 1. then by 1/4, then by 1, and by 1/4 again, and finally 1, and I can fill in the part there. Now, that's kind of like technically why I want to sort of like end the video for now, because I've sort of done the I'm gonna call it like the easy part of just doing the real sort of like architecture, the really basic part of it. So you get something like this, which, as crude as it may look, is still, I think, a pretty good start to the proceedings, because in time you will, the way it's supposed to end is that it's going to look a little something like this. There's going to be a little bit more detailing added onto this, so hopefully you guys will be able to see that in the next video. I'll even do like little other versions of this as well, so I'll look forward to seeing you guys when that occurs. So thank you once again for watching, and I will see you for part 2. Take care.